Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of whatever I call this channel or whatever. Again, this is my naughtier page and things where I talk about spice and kink and things like that. So if you're not into that, just keep that in mind. I did change the channels up a little bit a while ago. I haven't been on here for a little while just because I've been trying to kind of figure out how I want to navigate some certain things. But I did a live last night, which if you're interested in watching the live, let me know and I can give you the website name of the live, where the live is. But I spent about an hour kind of perusing some of the subreddits that I follow, including like kinky ones and things like that. And I saw a lot of uh, like um, prevalent themes. And so I think that it's worth talking about, and also um, uh, it can be a good gateway conversation for people who are trying to get into more spicy activities. Because, and when I say spicy activities, I hope you know that I'm talking about in the bedroom. I'm going to try to keep it as level as possible. And I think it should be pretty easy because that's just kind of what it was. Um, so I think the first thing that I noticed, and I guess this is the kind of gateway conversation part, is a lot of people who were in what are considered vanilla relationships wanted to spice it up, wanted to start introducing their partner into different aspects of BDSM and kink. And I think that a lot of people are really nervous when they're about to have that conversation and they don't know how their partner will respond. I think everyone has to consider their partner individually because I don't think there's a blanket answer for everyone. However, I do think there's a lot of commonalities, as long as, there's not something outstanding that would make your partner kind of vary from um, this this mindset, right? So I think one of the things is kind of like starting out very small with different things, kind of opening up a lot of communication. I think that a lot of people, when they are in more vanilla uh, arrangements, like they don't really talk about the act much. It's just like you do it or you don't. And so the main cornerstone of being in more like spicy arrangements, I think, is to communicate more. And so for me, that would be saying like, "Hey, like this seems kind of interesting. Like, is this something that you would try, or like you're interested in, or you have no interest in? Like, does it like gross you out? Like, getting a feel for like different little aspects. And the thing is, like, not every partner is going to be the other partners or you know, partner or partners perfect match in kinks and in interests. And that's how all relationships work, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of us have interests that our partners don't. Like, that's just how it is. But finding some commonality and things that you both find really fun or you might want to explore, keeping communication open and saying like, hey, like, we can try this. If someone expresses that, like, hey, maybe I would try this or something like that, saying like, okay, well, like, we'll give it a try, and if you don't like it, then we can absolutely like never do it again. That's totally fine by me. Sorry, my cat's like right here, so he might pop into the screen for a second. Um, and my dog's on his side. So a lot of people were really asking, like, how do I talk to my partner about this want that I have? And I think that keeping communication open and just being honest, but not being pressuring. I think the minute that you're pressuring someone into a type of, uh, like a type of uh, change, I think that puts people off immediately, even if it's something that they might be interested in. So don't say like, "Ugh, like I can't do vanilla anymore. I have to do this." You put a lot of pressure on the other person to really be something different. But if you're saying, "Hey, I really want to try this and it might be cool. I think you would enjoy it too. I've thought about it, and I think it would be really like whatever the conversation is. I think that that could be handled well, but I think that communication has to progress past like, are we doing it? Yes or no? Like it has to be beyond that, right? So for me, that's like a big one. But that was something that I saw a lot, like probably like every fourth comment or every fourth post was like about that. And it was like, okay, well, I'll just, try something small, try handcuffs or try, like blindfolds or, just like the smaller things that can build up into bigger things, and then be willing to explore what the other person has been interested in. Maybe like ask like, hey, like have you ever like seen anything that you're like, whoa, that would be cool to try? But maybe they were a little nervous to ask you. Ask them questions, and not only talk about your needs, but talk about maybe what they have seen that they might want that they've been a little nervous to ask you about. So that's one thing for sure that I saw a lot of. And then there were a lot of people who were really insecure about their kinks, about whether or not it was like too weird, like they could never find someone who could fit that or who would like not judge them for it and stuff like that. And I think, with the exception of, you know, a handful of things that are illegal or whatnot, I think that there's something or someone out there for everyone, and I think that there are some things that do push more boundaries and have less uh, interest, even in kinkier populations, than others. But that's okay. Like I think that if you say you're interested in something and your partner is like, that kind of pushes the boundary for me, and that's totally okay. But a lot of people did feel pretty insecure or like, oh, like, am I weird or am I a freak for like having these like desires? And it's like, okay, well, let's just like kind of reframe like what you want, what pleasure looks like for you, what goal you have in mind for this, and then we can go from there. Um, and kind of talking about it a little bit with people in the kink community, I think is a great aspect, because some people, like, you might talk to your partner and they might be like, ugh, nah, I can't. Nope. That's a big old no for me. But then you might talk to other people in the community and they're like, hey, I also am interested in the same thing you are. I too have found a partner that is not interested in this, but I do, this 50% of what I want, some compromise, and I found my partner's a lot more accommodating. Maybe you can talk to your partner about this. And so, willing to compromise, again, communication being the cornerstone of all of this, I think makes a big difference. Sorry, my camera's like slanted, or am I slanted? I don't know. So that was a big thing. And then there were a lot of people who tried to like name, like they're like, this is what I want, and I want the name of this kink. Like they wanted like a specific like name of a kink, so that when they were trying to find someone, they could just like say the name. And I feel like a lot of the times that's just not necessary, and it's kind of semantics. Like just go forward and just try to communicate what you need, and if it's not coming across, like, you can try to find a word for it, but I think it's still easier because of the nuances of how each person would individually do said act. I think it's important to I lost my train of thought. just like try to explain it as best you can and see how that works, rather than trying to think of a name for it, because I think that that furthers communication. I'm just going to always talk about communication because it's always going to be important to me. And yeah. Um, and then there were people who were like looking for people who were into things, and I don't feel like Reddit is a great place to like find people who are into things. So that was a little bit like, I don't know if you are using the internet in the best way possible for your uh, needs to be met. It's not Reddit's not really a dating app, so or like a cruising app or anything like that. So maybe think about that a little bit differently. I don't know. So those are some common things that I found. There were some people who, do have um, the one that really stuck with me was right at the end, and I was like, after that, I kind of had to be like, I I don't know. On my phone, my alarm's going off on my thing, and it's going to go off for like 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. But the one that I got to was about safe wording, and this person, um, their Dom told them that they were not allowed to safe word in certain aspects. And I think that is a very unhealthy communication method. Safe words are meant to be like a hard stop. They're not fun. If you get to a safe word, it's not supposed to be like I'm having so much fun that I safe worded. This person mentioned that they safe worded every time, like every day, like time they had an interaction, and like that's a lot. That's like I like the most of the people I know have like safe worded in a situation like less than a handful of times in their whole experience. So I think that, oh my gosh, the music's so fucking loud. It's bothering the shit out of me. My ADHD is like, no. Um, so um, I literally want to throw my fucking whole body into a wall and just die. Okay. But I think that you can use other words and phrases to communicate that you are at your limit, but also not have them be a safe word. You truly need a safe word out of a situation. You should be comfortable saying that safe word. It shouldn't be about pleasing the other person. It should be about your safety, and that should come first. And yeah, everything else is second, right? Your safety and your comfort and your mental well-being should come first. So I got really worried when this person started talking about it, and they're like, I feel safe with this Dom. It's like, well, if you feel safe with this Dom, why are they telling you not to safe word? And it sounds like both the Dom and the submissive do not understand what a safe word truly is about. So I think education on their part is a huge part of it. But that's my 2 cents on what I got off of Reddit. I'm sure I'll find some more interesting nuggets. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.